Quite a lot of news was broke yesterday in Hollywood in regards to their upcoming slate of films. A bunch of trailers dropped, a bunch of rumored films had been confirmed, and well, it was one of the biggest news days that I've seen in a very long time, but to be completely honest, none of them really tickled my fancy. You might see over on the sidebar, you have the confirmation that a Devil Wears Prada sequel is still in the works. Like, what are we doing, okay? You have, I guess, good news. Probably the best news, rather, to come out of the day is Lena Dunham's not going to be working on the Polly Pocket movie. Not like I was looking forward to the Polly Pocket movie, it's just we need less feminism in some of our girls' films, so I guess that's going to be a bit of a W. But this time next year, we're going to be dealing with the dueling fivequels, the pentology rises, however we want to do that, because I think it's July 1st, and then a week later, on the 8th, you have Shrek 5 dropping, and then you have Toy Story 5, which I can't believe we're already there, and then of course with all the spin-offs on both sides of that, you got how many iterations in those franchises? Okay, you have the Jurassic World news with Scarlett Johansson being welcomed into the fold by Jeff Goldblum, and her saying that it's the best script that I've seen since the last best script that I've seen. I mean, there's a lot of news, but I want to focus in on two specific projects because I think that they really underscore how creatively devoid Hollywood truly is. You would take a look at what's being successful right now, and I say this time and time again, it's not a unique thought, it's something that several other people echo as well. Whenever something works in Hollywood, they never learn the right lessons from it, because you have, yes, Gladiator 2, arguably the biggest trailer to drop. The other one that came out today was Agatha All Along, or whatever they're calling it this week for the new Disney Plus Marvel show, and well, we'll just probably have to reckon with that when it comes out in late August. Or no, I'm sorry, end of September. Oh my god, it's just, yeah, because it's going to head into spooky season. It's all about witches and gay possessions. I wish I was joking, but Gladiator 2's trailer, yeah, it dropped, and well, I won't subject you to the 3 minutes and the strange musical selections because, well, I think that's mostly going to end up getting me hit because you have a story about the fall, something that ends up presaging the collapse of the Roman Empire, and your first still is Ridley Scott introducing himself into the trailer for the trailer, but whatever, man. This is basically going to be marketed off the back of Ridley Scott, but then everybody can go around and remember, oh yeah, right, yeah, he was the director of the original. Everybody likes the original. Gladiator, one of the best films of the past 25 years, undoubtedly, but then you take a look at some of his more recent track record and realize that, ooh, even when he does come back to franchises and films that made him the legend that he was in the past, it's been of dubious quality, and that's really what this screams of right here, okay, because you have a lot of visuals that look good, okay, you got the Colosseum in all of its splendor with, I don't know, shark battles or something like that. I guess that probably happened. Then you got Denzel doing his best Oliver Reed impression, because something that you're going to notice if you go through the trailer itself, outside of the really strange selection of a Jay-Z song for the fall of the Roman Empire, yeah, okay, interesting. A lot of the shots just simply harken back to the original. So the only thing that I got out of this is, at best, we're just going to get a cheap knockoff, a cheap imitation of the original, or it's just going to be a bastardization, the likes of which would even make Alien Covenant blush. But Gladiator 2 trailer, Paul Mescal faces off against Pedro Pascal and Denzel Washington in Ridley Scott's action-packed sequel. Yeah, a lot of the response has been tepid. People are either, it's not as bad as I thought, which I kind of fall in that camp. It still doesn't entice me into a theater to go and see it, and I'm still going to go ahead and plug my nose before I do any more of a formal review on it. But I thought it could have been a hell of a lot worse. Okay, it's time to step back into the ring as Paramount Pictures has debuted the official trailer for Ridley Scott's Gladiator 2. Yes, the $375 million movie. Oh my god, it's going to be a disaster, starring Paul Mescal as a grown-up Lucius. Yes, and that is something else that you will see right here, confirming something that we've known for a very long time. Just a little bit of the trailer here, and Paramount's, very, very copyright strike heavy, so I don't necessarily want to press this at all. But there you have, you have the Sword of Maximus, which is kept underneath the arena, kept underneath the Colosseum, even though he was a hero. at the end of the film, okay, that's interesting. But yeah, no, they have obvious shots that there's Lucius, there's the son of Commodus. Okay, that's who we're dealing with in this one. That's what we've known from the leaks for a long time. So that's just confirming it right there. Lucius, the son of Lucia, and a nephew of Commodus. Oh, nephew. Okay, right, because that was his sister. Sorry, it's been a sec. It's one of my favorite films, but it's been a second since I've watched it. The original film's antagonist, portrayed by Joaquin Phoenix. He was portrayed as a child by Spencer Treat Clark in the original Gladiator movie. Sequel picks up years after Lucius, now living in northern Africa region of Numidia, where he was sent by his mother as a child to go live outside the reach of the Roman Empire. The events bring Lucius back to Rome as a gladiator. It's literally running back the same events of the original. And that's why everybody who looks at the trailers, like, I'm sure the action's probably going to be all right. I'm sure some of the performances are going to be good because Pedro Pascal, for as insufferable and overexposed as he is, he's a decent actor. He's not as great as a lot of people like to paint him as being, and I think that he gets a lot of undue praise. But you've also got Denzel Washington, who's great in everything. So, of course, you're going to get a couple of masterful performances. I haven't heard anything bad about Paul Mescal. I've never seen anything that he's in, at least the best of my knowledge. And the rest of the announced cast, it looks fine. It's just, it's got later day Ridley Scott written all over it. It's got exorbitant budget problems. It's got all of the trappings of modern day Hollywood, and I'm just not excited. Couple that with all of the other announcements, most of which I covered earlier, and it's just, Hollywood, man, you're getting some W's right now. You're getting some W's in the form of Despicable Me 4, which people kind of had earmarked, and then the overwhelming success, the unexpected success of Inside Out 2. You would think that, hey, why don't we just focus on some stuff? Focus on some stuff that people actually like instead of people looking at this stuff thinking that it's a joke. Their immediate gut response to this is, it's always been a meme. Gladiator 2, like, what did we do? That was a complete story at the end of it. Just when you thought that this was the worst idea for a film, brother, we got something even worse than that, and something that I never thought that we'd see. And never in my wildest dreams, to be completely honest. I would have been less shocked if Disney came up on stage and announced that they were remaking the original Star Wars trilogy. I would have been more at peace with that announcement as opposed to the Fistful of Dollars, Man with No Name saga getting a remake. What? Oh my god, bro. This is so, like, disrespectful doesn't cover it, okay? Unexpected, yeah, that's right up there as well, but there is no way in hell that anybody could add to those classic films. I don't know if they're just remaking the last one, which would be very interesting. Oh no, that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is the first one, right? So they're obviously setting up for Fistful, few dollars, and then the good, the bad, and the ugly. But how do you think that you're going to make this and not obviously fall in the shadow of the original? And who's going to be dumb enough to take the role of the Man with No Name? Because there's nobody that immediately comes to mind in Hollywood. But then again, I never thought that we'd be in this situation discussing something like this. So who even knows who they have in mind to cast for this? But let's get some information, I guess. Sergio Leone and a Clint Eastwood classic, A Fistful of Dollars, is set for a movie remake from Eurogang Entertainment. Oh, great. The company founded by Hollywood vet Gianna Nirani. Okay, 300. Not great. Okay, Simon Horseman, Magazine Dreams. I've heard good things about that. That was the last film that you're ever going to see Jonathan Majors in, at least in this decade, alongside Italian producer vet, Enzo Sisti Ripley, and FPC Rome-based Jolly Film, which produced the original movie. Yeah, none of that means anything really, because does it have any of the actual creatives as opposed to the money men attached to this? Yeah, okay. Hit Western, A Fistful of Dollars is a story, yes, of a wandering gunfighter, the Man with No Name, and it plays places two family rivals against each other in a town torn apart by greed, pride, and revenge. Yeah, of course, it's a classic tale, and even if you haven't seen the originals, or even if it's been a few years since you have seen them, it's a film that you know secondhand. The film, released in the mid-60s, helped launch the spaghetti western, one of the biggest trends in Hollywood history, and Eastwood's career. Yeah, exactly. Even though, you know, we had other cowboy parts beforehand, but yeah, this is what made a cinematic icon. This is just about as improbable as a recast as, I don't know, like Terminator, Rambo, Gladiator. Oh, wait. Yeah, and others including that of composer, yeah, Ennio Morricone. Yeah. What are you guys going to do? Are you going to Hans Zimmer, French horn fart up, the Morricone score? Like, are you going to be that bold as to do that? Huge success that spawned 2 more films in the iconic trilogy, Yes for a Few Dollars More and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, all starring Eastwood. The original was identified as an unofficial remake, yes, of Japanese classic Yojimbo, and there's a lot of spaghetti westerns and westerns in general that take a lot from Eastern cinema and Eastern lore with, your samurai films, the Magnificent Seven, obviously being one of the clearest examples of taking the story of 7 samurai and then running it back for a Western audience. It's just, I don't know who this is for. It's still early in the process, so production details are under wraps for now. This would most likely be English language, and it hasn't been confirmed by the team. And a writer. Start date and cast have yet to be revealed, but they felt so strongly to come forward with this news because they think it's a good idea. Italian-born Numari, okay, executive producer for The Departed, 7, okay, anything that you've done in the past 20 years, by the way. He has worked on movies that include 300 franchise, oof, there's like half of a good film there. Immortals, oh great, and From Dusk Till Dawn. Well, yeah, okay, they have done good work. It's just, yeah, Immortals has at best a mixed response, and From Dusk Till Dawn is 30 years old at this point in time. What have you done lately? I don't know, man. I think everybody can kind of see that this is a terrible idea, okay? But who knows? It may end up being good. I hope it's good, because I love me a good Western. I love me a good Clint Eastwood film, and as long as they pay respect to it, that's about the best that we can hope for. But then that's also what we can hope for when it comes to Gladiator 2. So perhaps this is just simply going to presage the idea where we're going to get all of these legendary films. They're finally going to start being run back because Hollywood is completely and totally creatively bankrupt. Yeah, I think that's what we're heading for, because what did Hollywood learn? Instead of making films that appeal to the proper audiences, okay, making films that are generally politically devoid of any sort of proselytizing. No. More franchises, more remakes, more sequels. Great stuff. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.